everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello.
It is Monday.
Hello.
What's up, T. Schmidt, Ghost Hunter? I am Ray. Got it right this time. Booger. Big Bobzilla. Pow! Right in the paint water.
The heck? A
How?
big Bobzilla here at the beginning of stream? What?
I know.
No way.
How is everyone doing today? I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I certainly did. It was full of degenerate video game playing.
Is that the Starship Enterprise?
No.
No.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Why can't it be the Enterprise?
They all kind of look the same.
In your defense, Jen, they do all look the same.
Thank you.
They do not look the same.
Yes, they do.
They look similar.
To the untrained eye, similar and the same are...
Every boat looks the same to the untrained eye. Then.
Correct.
All right. Then I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I would not be able to tell you one boat from the... Like, one cruise ship from the other. I would not be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Other than the big old...
I get that totally.
Huge, like, cruise line identification on the side.
Yeah. You would start noticing things like the number of smokestacks.
Right.
On, like, old ships and
Right.
things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So. No, they do look very similar. They're meant to.
Yeah, I mean, they're all...
It does look like a pizza cutter.
Oh,
That would be a good pizza cutter.
I just thought about that. I was like, that would make such a
That
cool
would be
pizza
a good
cutter.
nerd pizza cutter.
I want to make this happen. I
It
must make
it
this
has
happen.
To exist. And then what is yours like a bulldog? What is that?
This is a bulldog. Also known
He's
as
painted that model before.
Lockjaw. Me?
Yeah.
I have not painted this model before.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You positive?
As far as I'm aware.
What's the dog for?
I'm testing out some things that I want to do on an upcoming short. And a dog is a great way to do this.
Is it from something?
It's from a game called Marvel Crisis Protocol, made by...
I've heard of this game.
T. Schmidt, I would believe that there have to be like some Enterprise or Star
Oh,
Trek pizza cutter someplace.
100% they exist.
That seems like the kind of thing they would have licensed at one point in
Yeah.
time. It's
That's
just
like-
too easy.
It's like a rule of the internet sort of thing. If
Yeah.
if you can imagine that it exists, it probably does.
It's like a
You're
it's
gonna
just too
find
easy.
it. I honestly, I kind of now have to own one if it exists. So I'll let you know if I find one. Not that I often have use for a pizza cutter,
I mean,
but
you might.
you never know. Usually the pizzas that I ordered tend to be already
They're pre-cut.
Yeah.
They come to you cut already.
Yeah.
That is kind of true, actually.
Yeah, I was like,
Now that I think about it,
Unless you're making like a frozen pizza.
right.
that is
right.
kind of the thing. Like, how many
For
times
$40
are we
on
actually
Amazon.
cutting pizza at our own houses?
T. Schmidt's
Yeah.
already found it. $40 on Amazon. Prime delivery. Be there tomorrow.
Oh, $40?
That's kind of a lot for
crazy.
a pizza cutter, I think.
Like 25 bucks. I'll pay 25 bucks for a... Unless it's really cool. Like, it's gotta be really, really cool to be worth 40 bucks. Like, it lights up and stuff, and then it
39,
has a
30,
detachable saucer that you can put in the dishwasher.
It does not do any of those things.
It-
I'm looking at it right now.
I'm
It's
very
just a
bummed.
plain old pizza cutter that has that stuff on the bottom.
Yeah, I would pay $40
Well,
for that pizza cutter.
huzzah. I'll just
have to
throw
admit,
back my
I would
legs
pay
and
$40.
pollute
You would?
my britches with delight.
Or would not.
For one that detaches.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So a lot of these starships, they're the saucer.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you that it doesn't look like that. It's just a plain old
I'm
pizza
just
cutter.
talking about my fantasy of how cool this thing could be.
Oh, you ruined his day.
Sorry.
You gotta tell the saucer detaching would be super cool, and you put that in the dishwasher, and the rest of it is nice and it glows up and makes noise. That'd be fun.
Gabamus, thank you for the
I'm a nerd.
Twitch Prime sub.
Thank you for the Twitch Prime.
Are they ever pre-cut well, though? It depends. Our Mod Pizza around the corner, they give us, like, 2 gigantic pieces, and then the rest of them are, like, tiny little.
They gotta
They
learn
cannot
themselves
cut.
how to cut some pizzas.
They are very, very pizza cutter challenged.
Costco's great. Barrows is also very good.
Ours puts too much cheese on their pizza.
I would agree with that.
Thank you.
I would actually agree with that. Having had it recently, It's also very salty. I could
Even
go with
when
like
you
literally half the amount of salt that they put on that pizza.
Even when you say light cheese, they put too much cheese on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Costco pizza is my go-to for cheese pizza.
Oh.
If I'm gonna get pizza, I'm gonna go to Costco and get
Yeah.
it. Which I did this weekend. Because I remembered I had a Costco membership, and I had a great time at Costco. It was amazing.
Wait,
Yes, too much cheese. I said it.
You go to Costco for pizza?
Heck yeah, I do.
Pizza and hot dogs.
Their hot dogs aren't bad. Yeah. Yeah. Costco pizza is like upper echelons of not restaurant quality pizza.
It's I mean, it's one of the things they're known for.
Yeah.
It's pizza.
Yeah, they're very well known for pizza.
Well, I mean, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
fine.
Have you partaken?
Fine, okay. Okay, fine.
It's not convenient.
No. Well, I mean, if you work very close to one, it's super convenient, but
We don't.
we do not. No. There used to be one relatively close, didn't there?
No.
They moved it? Because I know there's a business.
Yeah,
one.
technically.
So yes, there are two. Okay. Close is all relative.
That's also true.
There are two different Costco's. One is probably 2 miles to the east, and the other's 2 miles to the west, about. Maybe a little more, give and take.
There was
Neither one.
at 19th Ave.
Yeah, there used to be one, but that was long before you moved here, Jordan.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it closed a long, long time
Oh,
ago.
okay. I went to the one on Thomas.
Yeah.
This last weekend.
And 44th
And
or
44th
whatever.
Street.
And 44.
That's the one we usually go to. But you have to deal with a lot of traffic. So it's not far, but
Yeah,
the
the
traffic
202's
on the
not.
road that gets you there
Yeah.
is
202 is not
insane.
great. As I discovered this weekend. But you can just go down to Thomas and just literally like
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the way I would normally go, is just straight down Thomas.
straight down Thomas. Yeah.
Because we used to live on Thomas and 24th Street.
Oh, so you were already like
We were
halfway
close there.
Yeah.
But Thomas is like Indian school. There was just really a lot of traffic.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely regret going 202 and I should have gone Thomas, but now that I know. It was my first time going by myself. The last time I went with Christmas sushi, like the day after I moved or something. Or maybe the day I moved stuff into my apartment. I think it was, actually.
Too much cheese equals tartar sauce for chicken. That's
Yo,
like the
come on
exact
now.
same sentiment. That's a matter of opinion. My opinion is that there's a particular pizza place that's nearby here that everybody likes except me. And the reason I don't like it is because they put too much cheese on their pizza. I've been going to this place since high school. They've always put too much cheese on their pizza. I've tried it. I'm always open-minded. Like, maybe I'll try it again. Maybe if I say light cheese, they'll get it right. No.
Have you ever asked for light cheese?
Every time.
Oh.
And it's still too much. And they, like, put, like, a mound of it straight in the middle. So it makes the middle of the pizza completely soggy and gross. I could go on. I won't bore you. I can tell that chat is not on board with my complaint of too much cheese.
I get it. I can understand it. I don't necessarily always agree with it, but sometimes when I'm in a particular mood, I can definitely agree with it.
All right, Division Ring said, when the great Costco food debate is done, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What? You have a question about, like, real stuff?
Are we also
crazy.
debating anything Costco related?
I heard Slowfuse talk about priming in many passes yesterday. Were you eavesdropping at our house?
It would have been on Friday, probably.
Friday. And watched the priming tutorial video as well, but I cannot understand why the multiple coats are better. Is there an explanation of the actual mechanics behind it? Yes.
There
Multiple coats of any paint are better than one coat, period. It's really that simple. Paint needs to be built up so that it locks into itself. Otherwise, you're just painting basically a plastic skin on a model, right? Because all acrylic paint is just a thin poly coating. So you're going to get this plastic, this urethane coating on there, right? And at the end of the day, it needs to be able to kind of lock into itself in order to give the best permanence. When they paint cars, they don't paint cars in one coat. When they paint houses, you don't paint a house in one coat. You shouldn't, right? The first coat gives a good foundation, and the following coats give you the color and everything you're looking for. So, primer is that layer of paint that gives what we call tooth to the rest of the model, right? Because the surface of the model is not conducive to painting as a slick molded plastic or cast resin or any of that. Those aren't good surfaces for painting. And so you're building up a texture on the model with the primer that allows all the rest of your paint to adhere in a really good way. So building it up one thin layer, followed by another is your best method.
I have done a thing.
Did you lose that thing again? The same one that we lost before?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Oh.
Megalodon said that he and I could never be roommates because he always goes overboard on cheese. See, you gotta order 2 pizzas. I don't share my pizza anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Jason
she doesn't.
and I
It's not
always
like
get our
we
own
share.
pizzas.
She orders her own, but she's never happy with it, so we don't order from Barrows very often for the house. The problem is we used to be okay with both getting Mod, but Mod has sucked so bad over the last year that
Mod's like the only one that I like anymore. Even though they've made a bunch of mistakes. Like on our last few orders. Well, the last like 2 I think have been good. But yeah, for a while there they were very unreliable. There's a balance.
Or they're like every other fast food business now, whereas they used to
Just
stand out as,
inconsistent.
oh yeah, always order Mod, they're great. Now they just suck.
I still like Mod best. There's a balance
Although-
for pizza cheese. Too much is blech, not enough. Also sad.
As long as you get their thick crust, you're usually
Yeah,
good.
their mega crust, mega dough is good. Game delay. I want you to put barely any cheese on this pizza. Now
you
hold
find
up.
it?
I'm worried you heard me
Huh?
ask for light cheese, but that's not what I said. That is correct. I need to, like, when I order from Barrows, say I only want 25 pieces of cheese, like the little shreds. That's it. And then they'll put 50, and that's
I
plenty.
didn't even see it fall off.
Uh-oh.
That's the weird thing.
That's the weird thing. Well, you weren't paying attention is what that means.
Well,
Division
yes.
ring. I'll wait Division ring until they're a little more focused.
See, at least I knew when I dropped.
Do you need me again? I will come and crawl around on the floor and find it.
We lost it twice the other day.
Didn't fall off anymore.
You sure you didn't knock it off onto the... Oh, it's right here on the table.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Table. Where was it? Was it on your side?
Yeah, right.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
Okay, so division ring, following up on your explanation. Cars and houses make sense because I can see the durability coming from pure thickness of paint. You can only lay paint on so thick with a brush. But you're talking about applying the paint thinner than the airbrush can do because paint adheres better to previous dry paint than to itself?
It adheres better to the paint doesn't adhere to itself. It adheres to the surface you spray it on.
So the primer is creating that surface.
Yes. The primer has a heavier polyurethane so that it will hold on to the surface that you're painting it on better than normal paint, right? You will see some people that don't even prime their models. They just use paint because primer, and their thinking there is that primer is just paint, so why am I doing it twice? And while it's valid because primer is just paint, it is a paint with a thicker polyurethane in general. And that thicker polyurethane will create a stronger bond on the surface than normal paint will, because, you know, it basically is having to latch onto the surface for dear life until it cures, at which point in time it's latching onto itself more than anything, right? So that's why if you have a tear in your paint, you could lift paint off of the surface, right? You've probably seen on pieces of metal or even on your house, you know, you get a chip in the paint and then all of a sudden you can peel the paint off your house, right? Because it's not really adhering as well to the surface as it is just forming a suit, so to speak, over the top. And when you say you're painting it thinner than the airbrush can do, that's not the case, because the airbrush is doing it. So I don't understand that part of what you said. You're just feathering it on, okay? Because at a microscopic level, right, you wind up creating little textures of paint that each other piece of paint can grab onto as they dry. And the more layers, if you put down one layer, then there's no paint to grab onto. It's just having to hold on for dear life on the plastic or your greasy Cheeto finger surface, right? And so if you feather it on first, then that paint can live side by side on that greasy Cheeto surface, dry in little particles, and then the next paint you put on gets to not only sit on top of the greasy Cheeto finger surface, but also the dried particles of paint sitting next to it. So it just gives you a better bonding surface. And then you just repeat that and go for opacity.
Avian, hello.
Hello, Avian.
Currently on a 7-stream streak.
Didn't we have somebody on a 30 streak the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you just blast primer on, you might as well just paint with regular paint. It doesn't do you any good. I see people all over the internet complaining about one brand of primer or another. Some people complaining about Vallejo. Yeah. Some people complaining about AK. Some people complaining about Army Painter. Blah, 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 blah. The reality is that all of them come down to the fact that when priming, you're trying to put the primer on way too fast. Don't do it in one coat. It's not like it wastes a bunch of time. Ultimately, you'll use more paint doing multiple layers, but you'll put it on in such a way that it won't have the effect of like glopping on a bunch of paint. Whereas just spraying it on all at once typically is less controllable and gives you less manageability of how that paint lays on the model anyway. So.
Game Delay said greasy Cheeto fingers was how I meant my Twitch handle to be pronounced, but nobody gets it right. What if I just paint first, then prime?
You'll definitely love your models.
Yeah, you guys keep on calling me Baby J. It's supposed to be Baby Cheeto Finger.
Baby Cheeto fingers?
Yeah.
Did you change your name?
I didn't change my name.
Oh. Why do you want them to call you Baby Cheeto fingers?
No, I did. Sorry, the joke was lost in translation.
Oh. Sorry.
I was making a joke about the joke that Game Delay just made. Oh. By applying it to my name.
I see.
Which you guys have dubbed
We've been saying yours wrong too.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Technophile wants to know, where can one find the Star Trek ships to purchase? Are there multiple ship classes available?
Yes. They're on Shapeways or Amarillo Design Bureau. They're the license holder from Paramount for miniature tabletop war games. So WizKids has the license for I think board games or something like that, but I have things like Klingon, Dreadnought. They're all the older style licenses from or the older style designs. You know, there's a battle cruiser, Federation battle cruiser, but I've got a full fleet of there's the Enterprise for Jen. That's a heavy cruiser.
Oh, wow. How is that different than the one you're painting right now?
Totally different.
It does have, the one he's painting right now is larger and also has a third.
So look at the shape.
Okay. Uh-huh.
What do you see? What do you notice about the shape?
I see the big round pizza cutter, and then I see the two things coming out of the top.
In what shape?
Huh?
What are the things on the back? What shape?
They look like, I don't know, hot dogs.
But they're in a V, right?
Oh, yeah. Ah, okay.
How many things are there?
More.
There are, in fact, more of them.
But yeah, they're all, they have them at various scales. This is, I think, what they call Star something 2500, the largest scale they make, just because I like big models. But it has everything from like war destroyers like this guy to combat frigates to fast cruisers like this one. Like I said, battle cruisers, frigates, right? Teeny weeny little frigates. And then everything down to like the F5 for the Klingons, you know, their frigates or destroyers.
Frigate.
So, frigate's such a good word.
It is.
All the way up to like the cruisers and the dreadnoughts in the old style. They also have the Romulans and Gorn and just about every race that predates the next generation style stuff. It's only the original series designs.
All right, Slavic has a question. Can you explain the undershaded skin tone process? I saw the methodology, but was hoping for some thoughts. I'm painting a model with dirty blonde hair, and I don't want the skin and hair to blend together.
With dirty blonde hair?
Yeah.
Undershaded
skin tones for dirty blonde hair.
Well, like when I have like this dwarf where we did kind of a dirty blonde beard, right? Taking the dark flesh and the dark purple and using that as my shadow base makes sure that no matter what I do with the flesh tones, they're going to stand apart, right? They're not going to be as golden as the beard, right? So a lot of that can be done just through your planning of knowing what's going to sit right next to the skin so that you don't go into, say, too much of the warm flesh, golden flesh style colors like you would if you're doing like a bronzed, Doc Savage kind of skin. Like if you're doing like that yellowy tan color, you just wouldn't do that for a model that's going to have like dirty blonde hair unless that's something you're looking for, right? Full on mana bronze style stuff. So, but when I underpaint, what I'm really trying to do is create life to the skin, so that I give it more color, because, when we look at our skin, it's not just flesh tone, right? There's pinks and greens and yellows and blues and other colors in it for all the blood and guts underneath the skin, because skin is see-through to some extent. Not fully transparent, but translucent. And it's just the fact that we have multiple layers of skin built up that gives it that translucence, that almost close to opacity. We even did it on Hulk recently, right? Where we did the magenta and the purple underneath, so that, or actually it was dark blue and magenta, so that we got the little bits of magenta red in the crevices of his muscles, so that it makes it look more alive,
You said it's for an elf, so trying to give warmth and life to the skin.
Well, and again, so like a purple reddish undertone takes care of that. A lot of people will say you need to do it in the highlights, but that's not true. It can be, you can definitely do that, but you don't have to do like sunny skin tone style highlights all the time that makes skin more yellow. As a matter of fact, you need to be careful of that, because yellowish tones on the skin can make it look sickly, right? Liver deficiencies cause yellow skin. So you can do that, but a lot of times bringing warmth into the skin can happen in the shading, and then you don't have to do, because elves, I always feel like, have fairly fair skin, right? Maybe not pale, but leaning less towards bronzed tan god style skin. And so wanting to keep the skin a little paler, you would want to bring the warmth in other ways so that you don't have to do the, you know, Bikini Beach, bronze, tan elf if you don't want to.
Elf with a spray tan?
Bikini Beach.
What's that?
An elf with a spray tan?
And then, you know, we did that recently, although this is a more gross, you know, cave dweller skin tone, but very similar in context, where I'm not trying to have it look healthy in terms of like bronze tan flesh, but I still have a very warm feel to the skin because, again, I did that real deep layer of dark purples and magentas and things like that underneath so that I get the warmth of having, you know, blood, red blood running underneath the skin. But I can then have the highlights and the base tone of the skin be whatever I want so that it looks a little more, you know, not quite dead. I wasn't trying to make these guys undead. But, you know, they live in a cave, so they're not out in the sun getting tan all the time, right? And so you could do something similar here, or maybe not use quite as pale of a tone like with the olive flesh that I used here, right? But you could use a little bit more tan flesh on top to get some pink back into the top layers and still bring this to life and make it look pretty good for elves and not too dead.
Avon wants to know, Baby J, will you show us how to paint drool properly?
Yeah, I mean, I can demo that.
You got it. Your dog's gonna be drooly, right? That big tongue hanging out.
Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of drool on the side of the tongue. 100%.
Gabe said, "Don't forget to prime." Don't forget to prime.
Don't forget to prime.
Don't forget to prime. Wad Tomato, how is the quality of the models? I considered getting some stuff from them for Star Wars Armada at some point.
Pretty horrible. That's not really fair. The Shapeways stuff I'm not a fan of, and I don't know if that's because the people at Amarillo Design Bureau have chosen the materials that Shapeways is capable of using, because I get other Shapeways models that are not this bad. There's a lot of texture to these prints, and I think it's the printing method that Shapeways uses as opposed to the sculpt. You can tell the sculpt has got good detail, but if you look at the cylinders of the nacelles, there's a lot of texture there. They look like they're carved out of wood. And they're not FDM printed, it's resin, right? But the way the stereolithography is done at Shapeways is pretty brutal on these. I'm not a huge fan. They're still fun, and they're still going to be fun models. They're just not as enjoyable to paint as I wish they were, because it means you have to do a lot more delicate follow-through on them for painting than I really wanted to. Just dry brushing them makes them look like, you know, dirt.
Hugo Center, we're not seeing any issues on our end. You might need to turn it off and turn it back on.
Yep. The good old power trick. If it ain't broke, try and turn it off and turn it back on. The problem is when you can't turn it back off and then back on.
Sometimes you turn it off and it doesn't come back on.
Well, that's even worse.
Because then you know that you're done.
Yeah, you're done.
There's been times where, like, the computer, you're like, there's no way I'm turning this off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last night I was playing Noida, and the game started stuttering really bad, and then it froze to a halt. You could tell it was moving like 1 pixel at a time every handful of seconds.
Oh man, do I know how that feels?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm not really into this. This is a bummer. You know, it was a pretty good run, and I waited for it, and then it got back to where it finally came back up. The game didn't crash. It came back up and was running. I was like, woohoo! And so I started playing again, and I knew the whole time I should have saved and restarted, but I didn't. And so it did it again, and I got lucky. That time, at least, I did save and restart, but it was like I was very afraid to. I was like, I don't want to lose all my stuff.
Panic Bomb. Hello. Panic Bomb said it's nice to see the whole crew back
We're back.
for the day.
I'm still coughing a lung up, but I feel a lot better.
Well, you're gone the next 2 days, aren't you?
Wait, what?
I
What?
am.
Oh. Well, chat. It'll just
So
be
you got 1 day.
and me and probably Jen.
Yeah, I'll be here.
I'm
too.
gone tomorrow. I may be back the following day. I've
yeah.
told them that I've been sick, and so
Oh.
I don't know that they want me to stay the whole time.
Yeah.
And I don't think I want to stay the whole time. So
I was wondering how that was going to work. It's like a confined thing, kind of, right?
yeah, so it sounds like kind of the group response has been have me just stay for the meeting and then leave.
Okay.
So that might be the way it goes. I don't think that would allow me to get home in time for the show tomorrow, though.
Hmm.
But we'll see.
But great time.
Impressive lathe skills to whomever turned that ship out, right? Especially the saucer bit. Because this is all one part. Very skillful lathe turning.
Funny. I playing Path of Exile this weekend, like I mentioned to you earlier, Jason. And the thing that me and my friend are doing in co-op for that game, I cannot press Alt. If I press Alt, the game crashes.
Oops.
Because there is so much loot that's dropped on the ground
Oh, yeah.
that if I turn off my filter to show everything, the game literally can't handle it and it just crashes.
Hmm.
So you have to have a filter turned on that limits how much stuff that
Hey,
is
somebody
shown by
likes
the
us.
game. Otherwise, it literally just goes and blows up.
Avian said, well, thanks, Slowfuse. I found a Horta to order.
Found a what?
Horta? Horta? I don't know.
Who's that from?
Avian.
Avian. Found a Horta to order?
A Horta? Is that a typo? They don't know what you're talking about, Avian.
I know not.
Lena0403, thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow.
Booker, what's coming up for Monument Hobbies in 2024? Well, we've talked about it a bunch of times.
We have.
We have new go bag accessories coming out, a couple smaller versions. We've got 2 more, or kind of 3-ish more signature series, 2 for sure, and then another little paint set. Yeah.
Yep. 18-ish colors for Adepticon is the goal.
Whew, so many colors.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For Adepticon, and then we'll release to the general public after Adepticon.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to Adepticon, you'll be able to get them early.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not able to go to Adepticon, you'll still get them, just like a couple weeks later.
Yep. Excuse me, guys.
Vision Ring said Baby J is giving conflicting feelings. I love how he's getting strands of fur effect so easily, but the method of millions of tiny brush strokes is giving me carpal tunnel through the screen. He just started that. It's not that, like, he's just been doing it since we started stream today.
I think they're more or less talking about the fact that, like, all the repetitive brush strokes, doing this a ton.
How would you normally paint it if, like, don't you normally have to use repetitive brush strokes?
Well, it's less. Like, I'm basically painting every brush stroke like this to build up the color.
Uh-huh.
Whereas, like, normally you would highlight by, like, oh, I want my highlight here. And then you would, like, blend it out or
I
something.
just messed it up.
There are more highlights of texture that I gotta do. And I can turn this all texture.
Oh yeah, and then the texture trainers that Ghost Hunter just reminded me of as well.
Texture trainers. So much stuff. So little time.
Can we make the first run of Adepticon product have "Hello, my name is" labels? No.
Yeah,
That
you
was
wish.
so much work.
Poor Jen.
It's so funny because I wasn't even here barely for when that whole process started. I just saw it at Adepticon there.
We only had like a dozen of each, maybe.
People loved them
That
at
was
the show,
plenty.
though.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Game Delay said I was talking with my sister about colors I paint with this morning, realizing 3 of my major paints for transitioning skin tone, dark magenta, warm brown, and dark plum, are all from the Ninjon set.
It's a pretty good set.
Ninjon's got a good set.
A pretty good set.
All the
I use a lot of those
all the
colors a lot.
signature sets are fantastic.
They are. They really are.
2 biggest sellers currently, Matt Seshwish and Vince Venturella.
Dang. Look at that.
I think Vince V's purples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his purples are real good.
White, blue, and royal purple.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing it home for Vince V.
All right, where do I go from here? Do I want to go?
These models will look good by the time I'm done. I just, I wish they were better material. The saucer is actually really good. It was very waxy. It was almost like
You can see the like shininess of
like
it.
sticky almost when I started. And so we painted it really, really fast, and I went up tearing down to the primer with that last wash layer, so I got to fix that at some point. But
It's so crazy to me how like the saucer is not nearly as bad as the nacelles as far as like.
well, I think it's a cylinder and how they printed it, right?
Yeah.
I think when going this way, it is weird that the saucer. It's almost like they took the time to make the saucer look nice and didn't care about the rest of the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my question would be, what would be the best orientation for that to get printed?
I mean,
Probably upside down.
you know, 'cause you want
any
time you can, you want to try to keep any face of it away from, so probably like this,
Yeah.
at an angle.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I was thinking.
But this has been done with stereolithography. This is like SLA laser printed stuff, and it's just very crappy resolution.
Yeah.
Probably done in the essence of speed rather than quality.
Yeah.
Even though they charge you $16 a ship for it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with this quality if this ship would have been $5. I would pay $5 for this print.
I would pay $5.
Maybe $8, plus shipping. To where the ship might have cost you $10 shipped. But for whatever this was, this might have been $20 or something. The big dreadnoughts were expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the big dreadnoughts were expensive, like maybe $25. It's pathetic.
I can whittle.
It's driven me to write a letter to Amarillo Design Bureau and ask them specifically why they chose to use the materials they do on Shapeways, because there are much better materials to be using.
Panic Bomb, that is Lockjaw.
It is Lockjaw. He's a good boy.
Cliff Jumper, thank you.
Ghost Hunter, remember that Signature Series paints are not colors that already exist in the line. So chat can have that Signature Series all day long by buying them singles.
Throw back my legs and pull
Yeah, the
out
signature
my
paints
britches
are
with
all
delight.
specific to those artists.
And they're all,
They didn't exist.
yeah, new colors. Don't exist anywhere else.
That
Thank you,
was too
Cliff
bright.
Jumper.
So then, what do we want?
It's funny because I keep wanting these ships to be more detailed, and they're just not. Like, I
Yeah.
keep looking at the old, paint job I have pulled up over here as a reference, and I'm like, well, there's just not a whole lot left. That's pretty much all it is.
Oh, for the paint job.
It's gray and gray.
Yep.
And then the decals we'll have to put on later.
Are you gonna do the glowy bits too?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the glowy bits
Oh,
today.
okay, cool.
I'm just gonna do a little bit of I'm doing dark neutral gray, and then I'll do a little bit of neutral gray on the nacelle trim.
Intermediate. All right. So I'm trying this here, and the color that I had mixed up is too bright. So I'm gonna try, because I'm just doing this as a test. I want to get the colors to be a nice gradual gradient, and I was worried that this color would be a little too bright for the texture, for that second layer of texture, which it definitely was, or third layer I should say. So I need to find something that is a little bit darker. What color do I choose?
Cliff Jumper wants to know if we are ready for LVO.
You would have to ask Gabe.
Gabe is... Okay, it's... Yeah. The LVO crew this year is Gabe, Philip,
Somebody likes us.
Schlebby, and Jordan.
Jen and I won't be there.
Jabe said, so dang ready.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Are you not dropping by for?
Aggresso Depresso
all.
and Celestial Corvid. Thank you for the follows. Aggresso Depresso.
I've thought about coming. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
I think we'll have to
There
miss
may
this
or
one
may
entirely.
not be a bell. Uh-oh.
What's that?
Gabe said there may or may not be a bell at LVO.
Gabe is excited about this bell. Be
He
fair?
wasn't too excited about it because I had to remind him.
Who?
Gabe.
Oh, you had to remind him? Come on, Gabe.
Like, Gabe, where's the bell?
The bell's like the most important part, Gabe.
Well, okay, so everyone that is at a booth for Monument Hobbies works for Monument Hobbies.
Yes.
So it might not be Jason or me, but saying, do you guys actually go, or others? It's us. It's not me personally. It's not Jason personally. But Jordan goes to all of them.
Mm-hmm. I go to them all.
If Jen and I don't go to LVO, it will mark the first show other than the first year of Gen Con
Yeah.
where neither of us have been there.
Yeah. The first Gen Con, we didn't go. Last year, Jason. I haven't been to a show since last LVO. But
Unfortunately,
LVO is a good one to not have us because it's small. A good test run.
it's smaller and letting the crew get the swing of it there is good. Kyle, our
exactly.
general manager, will
Kyle
be there.
will be there, not in an official Monument Hobbies capacity.
He's playing in the Horus Heresy event.
Well, we'll have a booth there for sure, Fire Arc. So, I mean, definitely stop by and say hi. But yeah, we probably won't be. Jason and I will probably not be at many shows this year. For the full time, at least.
I will be at Gamma.
Yeah. None of them will.
the only show in our entire industry where customers aren't allowed. It's only retailers and wholesalers. But I'll be there with Kyle. So if you happen to work for a store and you're going to Gamma, I should see you at Gamma.
No, Kyle's not there to spy on anyone. He's there for moral support if needed. But the crew that's going is Shelby's the only one who hasn't been to one.
Yes.
Yeah, she's getting trained at this one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Gabe, Jordan, and Philip are all pros.
Veterans.
I've been to a fair number of shows in my life. Fair number.
Avian said, okay, I'm probably being lazy. You said that, not me. But have the Horus Heresy models Baby J was weathering gone up on YouTube? Also, was mud being done on the models?
Mud? Mud? Huh? Trying to think of
Right here.
weathering go up on.
Like your Sons of Horus, were you doing mud on them?
No. I mean, I was doing them with mud weathering on the tracks. No, I have not painted my Horus Heresy stuff in a while. I wanted to take a little bit of a break and do some other stuff. Although I might come back and do a little bit of it here soon.
Oh, Shelby. Totally gonna crush it.
But
Not
I'm
even,
gonna crush it.
Not even concerned. Ghost Hunter, I don't understand. I don't get your joke. Ghost Hunter said, "Wait, I'm not allowed at Gamma. Does she know this? I was just there." I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Sorry. Will the booth have samples like you get at the grocery store? No.
Wait, your grocery store does samples? Why can't I go to that grocery store?
You've never had grocery store samples? You just said you went to Costco.
Well, I don't really count Costco as a grocery store.
Well,
to be
but
fair.
the grocery
sell
you've never been
groceries?
to a grocery store where they've sampled like Costco does, where they get really?
No, yeah.
You ever gone to Trader Joe's?
Oh,
Well, Trader Joe's is different. You have to ask them at Trader Joe's.
To-
You
At
ask
the
them
back, at the back, they usually have like a little table where they're handing out something.
you know what? You're right. I have been to Trader Joe's. I have gotten stuff from Trader Joe's like that. I have not personally gone to a Trader Joe's by myself since I moved out of my house.
Do you have some sort of legal thing that requires a chaperone? Because you've now said you don't go
talking
to
about going
Costco by
places
yourself, or
No.
are you under
no.
house arrest and we don't
No,
know it?
I-
Have you lied to us?
Well,
James,
Turns out
that's
Baby J
not
doesn't
what
like
he's
public
asking.
alone.
You got to look at who's asking that question. It's professional paint licker. He's asking if he can lick some paint. And we
okay.
tell him no.
I have been to Trader Joe's. I have not gone to Trader Joe's in maybe 10 years.
Why not?
That's a great question.
There's so many
For-
good things
for
at
a-
Trader Joe's.
For a very large portion of that 10 years, I did not live near one.
Well, you live near one now.
Where is it?
It's on 20th Street in Camelback.
I
mean,
do
you're
not
like
have
2
an
miles
excuse
from there.
anymore.
No, you don't have an excuse.
I don't.
I don't go to that one very often because it's not close. It's
'Cause
close.
it's not
but
close?
It's like you have to make a trip that way. But
It used to be a lot closer.
It used to
It's
be
not
closer.
close anymore.
But
it used to
now-
be close. It was right across the street from our normal grocery store.
Yeah.
Now it is not.
yeah, and it used to be right.
That's
I mean, I used to go to that post office like daily, and so I could just it's like the Safeway for me now, where it's literally on my way home, and I just have to make an extra turn into the parking lot and then turn out and go on my way.
Yeah.
And that used to be the Trader Joe's.
I wish
Now
I had
it's
a
a
Safeway on my way home. That'd be great. Baby J needs to explore the world for a year and go to exotic places like Trader Joe's and Costco.
He just went to Costco, he said.
I did. I have been to Costco many a times.
Just never by himself.
I have been by myself.
The first time he said.
No. No, it's been the first time since I've moved here that I've gone to Costco.
No, you said you went
You
with
said it was
Christmas
the first time
sushi.
you went by yourself because you said
Oh,
Christmas
shoot.
You
sushi.
said
You
you
are
went with
right.
Christmas sushi.
Dang it.
And then you said it's the first time you went by yourself.
What do you think? We're just over here haranguing you? What's going on here?
Well, so in my mind, when I think about that moment, I don't think of it as like I went with somebody else, which is technically true. I did. You are right.
Poor Chris. You're not anybody, Chris.
Yeah, that.
Did you?
Patient
I mean, like,
zero.
did you guys just drive there together and then you went your separate ways, or
No,
did you
no.
walk around together?
No,
Hand in hand, frolicking
Like,
through
all right,
Costco.
I'll meet you at the door.
it wasn't one of those things where I was like, "Hey, Chris, you want to go to Costco? Like, you need to get some stuff from Costco. Let's go to Costco." It was like I need to go get this TV, and he was like, "Hey, I have a truck or a van at the time."
Man, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, "You don't have to do that." And he was like,
But I want to.
"I want to, cause I'm Chris,
Because I'm Chris.
and I'm really nice."
He is really nice.
And I do lots of nice
except
things
he-
for people who I don't know very well.
He got the he brought the
Yes.
all the germs in.
Except for that part.
Yeah, we love him except for that.
Was it a Costco hot dog
They
date?
fed each other samples. Like, here, you try it.
What? You actually, you know what's really interesting? When I was at Costco this weekend, they did not have any. There was like a couple of people there who like were that were like doing samples, but I didn't see any like food samples in the way that I usually do at Costco. Where they're like, here you go.
Because they stopped doing all those during COVID, and I'm wondering if maybe they are pausing them right now because of like cold and flu season or something.
Maybe.
Maybe they don't. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, there was something like the lady who was working there said
Thank you, Cliff
something.
Jumper.
Saying something silly like I'm not allowed to open the package or something. I don't know, it was weird. It was very bizarre. But I definitely noticed a significant decrease in the amount of them that I would normally have seen
Gotcha.
at a Costco.
Wait, Chris blames Philip for giving all of us sick, for making all of us sick, but Philip wasn't sick. Well, although I don't know that. Philip was off for a week on vacation. Maybe he was sick during his vacation.
I don't know. I don't want to.
Yeah, he said he was actually.
Oh.
All right, we have reestablished our targeting software for Philip now.
Not true. Christopher's the only one that coughed in my face.
Oh yeah, that's true. Chris coughed in your face.
Yeah,
therefore
see,
he
I
is-
game delay. I'm still blame Christopher.
Who's the best follower of Nurgle, and why is it Chris?
Who you laughing at, Gabe? I heard that all the way over here. I just heard a big Gabe laugh from the other room. The funny Nurgle
Funny
jokes.
Nurgle jokes.
What did he
talking-
say? Funny Nurgle jokes.
Funny Nurgle jokes.
He said something along the lines of, "Stop listening to me."
Phoenix Mercer says, who has the better Emperor, Dune or 40K? I mean, obviously Dune, because that's where 40K ripped theirs from.
Oh, speaking of emperors,
The original Emperor of Mankind.
Sorry. For the coughing. Can't help
Although
it.
technically, can somebody remind me if Frank Herbert's Dune came before Asimov's Foundation? Because Foundation also has the Emperor of Mankind.
I would say, from my experiences with Foundation, which is just the TV show, I would say there's a lot more parallels for me in my experience between Foundation and 40K than Dune and 40K. But I also have only ever read
Foundation, right, Clarkatron? Is that true? Megalodon, it is like coughing dead. Sorry, I have to keep coughing in your ear.
I did my time earlier on this year.
The good thing is I'm at that point where I'm just coughing up the lung now.
Yeah.
I actually feel pretty good.
Yeah.
51 for Foundation, and when was Herbert?
Oh, 51. Cheap.
I mean, it's Asimov, so.
Yeah.
I'm a very skilled cougher as well.
Yeah,
Here
we
we go.
both. You didn't cough much last night, though. I don't feel like.
No, I'm saying when I cough, I know how to do it. I turn and cough
dab.
with my arm. I dab when I cough.
65, yeah. I thought it was early 60s. So, yeah, that kind of pins it there. I feel like Asimov had Emperor of Mankind thing woven out with the genetics, right? So that might be a good spot to cull from for 40K. Because of the genetic, what is it, theocracy?
I really like the the whole setup for the emperors in the foundation.
So I went and I've been watching it.
The show?
So yeah.
Okay.
I've gone back and I've started watching Foundation again. I had only ever watched episode 1, so I went back and watched episodes 2 I went and watched episodes 2 and 3.
Okay.
And then went back and rewatched episode 1 after I watched 2 and 3 to fill in the gaps, and skimmed through episode 1. Then watched the rest of season 1. And by the end of season 1, I was getting to the point where I was like, hurry up and get over it already. Like, I was like, the end of the show needs to come now. And starting with the next season, I was like, oh, they're killing this. You know, it's like, just tell me something I need to see. Because it started being really long in the tooth. Like, it started at a pretty good pace, and then it really just kind of started dragging to where each episode took so long. It felt like the initial episodes were giving you a lot of story bits from a lot of different sections of the galaxy. And it made it interesting, like Game of Thrones interesting, you know, because you'd go and you'd see these people's dilemma, these people's dilemma, these people's dilemma, da-da-da-da-da-da. As it starts bringing the dilemma together, now it just turns into a good guys versus bad guys thing. And it's kind of not that great.
That's a bummer. I haven't seen season 2. I've only seen season 1. But
yeah, I haven't found myself as intrigued. I went back to watching Silo because I had not watched the final 2 episodes of Silo. So I went back and watched those and was very bummed that Silo doesn't have a season 2 yet.
It was good though. It finished strong.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah. No, I've read the book, so it is
where it goes.
Fairly. It's in good standing with the books as far as like how the story progresses.
Yeah, with good
pacing
and stuff.
It's very good. It's very frustrating. It is a very it's very frustrating if you're the kind of person that when you watch, you're like you get mad at the dumb people in the horror flick.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, Silo has a lot of, what are you doing? Oh my God!
Like,
just pull the lever, damn it.
Doing this?
Yeah, Avian. The Silo trilogy. The lack of paintbrush licking is making people sick, Slavic. That's not the case at all.
Nope, not.
Foundation is pretty good, but yeah. I need to go back and watch again because it's kind of already gotten beyond or outside of my scope of understanding. But I have to admit, I have not read that Asimov in over 30 years, probably. Hell, I would say I was in my teens when I read Foundation, the series.
Teens, huh? I mean, it's an old book, right?
Well, I grew up with my dad basically our house was a science fiction library because he subscribed to Asimov science fiction, Odyssey, the science fiction anthology, and then he was a member of the science fiction book club, which was one of those Columbia House kind of things that sent you like 3 hardbacks every month.
Oh, wow.
So you got like 3 books a month.
Jeez. Okay.
Just grumpy. It's just me that has the plague. And I actually don't have it anymore, but I have the residual effects of having to cough my lungs up. You guess you want to know if the series is as good as the book? The book... Oh. The book is better. And I know that... I feel like if the book is written and then adapted into a movie, the book should always... Or maybe not should, wrong word. The book tends to always be better. For those of us that read it first. If you see the series and you enjoy the series, read the book because you'll enjoy the book. They're more hand in hand than some of these other ones we're talking about, though. Like, if you go back and you read the book, you will feel right at home having watched the series. Now, that being said, I read the book, actually read it. I have not done the audiobooks. So if you have, I have the audiobooks now, but I have not done the audiobooks, so I don't know how to relate to the audiobook because I don't know who narrates it. I read the books. Like, I have the hardbacks.
Ooh, you know what else is a good sci-fi?
Freeman says I'm sympathy coughing. Good name, by the way.
You know who, you know a book series that is really good where the adaptation was pretty decent, but not quite as good as I might like? Altered Carbon.
So I didn't, it was a graphic novel, right?
No, it's a novel. As far as I'm aware, it might have been I'm not super familiar with, like, the book and its history. I just read the book and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
And then I watched the show. And the show was good, but it didn't have... There's something about it that was missing from the book series.
Yeah, I like
It
the
was
first Altered
missed a
Carbon,
little.
but I didn't like the second one. So
Yeah, I've only ever read the first one, and I was very happy to not read any of the other ones because I heard they were very bizarre.
I thought that Anthony Mackie, while being a decent actor, has not impressed me in Altered Carbon or in the
Marvel Universe.
yeah.
I agree.
That show that he was in with Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I thought was atrocious.
The show or his performance in it? Or both?
I felt like his performance with his sister and all the socio-political stuff of their life.
Oh,
was,
yeah.
was
Yes.
was very good. I
Yes.
thought that was all very well done. I thought
agree.
anything having to relate with the superhero aspect of the adventuring part of it was awful.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a... But maybe that's just partly the character, right? Because, like, he's a superhero, but he's not, like... He's like a lower level superhero. He doesn't have a superhero serum like Captain America.
Well, no, but Winter Soldier does,
Yes.
and yet he was horrible. So it made the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I wasn't very impressed with that show. Now, Loki, on the other hand, I think is spectacular.
Well, Loki's the best thing that Marvel's done since the Avengers.
Yeah. It's really, really good. All right. Here goes nothing. We're trying out what I think will work nicely for recipe for this. Although, unfortunately, I'm always bad at doing texture the other direction. Because you want it, when you're doing fur texture like this, you want your brush stroke to go in the direction of where the fur is laying. So on bulldogs, I did some reference this weekend, and their fur goes from the front of their body back, basically.
Oh wow!
So when they're standing, yeah, it's horizontal, which is very interesting.
No, I'm saying, oh wow, you did like super homework.
I mean, I wanted to do it right,
That's awesome.
and I like pulling up reference like that.
I don't know that I ever would have gone to the level to look at which direction
what
the
direction?
hair grows. That's interesting.
I think I started by looking at colors because I was curious, like what kind of color palette they typically come in, which is a funny way to say that, but I'm sticking to my guns on it. And it was an interesting thing that I noticed when I was looking at those photos. Because, I mean, if I'm doing fur texture, I was just like, okay, we're thinking about fur, looking at the fur, how coarse it was, how fine it was. And it's very fine fur texture. But I also noticed, I was like, oh, this is weird. It goes horizontally instead of vertically, which is, I found to be really interesting. So, like on their hind leg, instead of going up and down, it goes horizontally. Ghost Hunter, he is a bulldog. Just your good old bulldog, which I think is there a distinction between an English bulldog and a bulldog, or is the traditional
The English bulldog is like the big one, and then
Yeah.
there's French bulldog, which is
with the smaller one? Okay, so those are the only two types.
I think so.
Okay, then because I was just trying to figure out if bulldog, French bulldog, and English bulldog were three different
Yeah,
types.
I thought he was a bull mastiff.
He might be a bull mastiff. He looks an awful lot like a bulldog, but he does have the dark face that I pretty sure is a mastiff thing, because they have the like really dark fur on their face. But I don't know a ton about dogs, so
They like belly rubs,
Well, I do know that.
food.
Yeah.
They like food,
Mm-hmm.
belly rubs, and naps. That's pretty much dogs.
Some of them really like kisses too. My grandma's dog really enjoys licking
So,
people's
according
faces.
to Google, Lockjaw is an inhuman giant bulldog whose abilities include teleportation.
Yeah.
He
They
serves the
teleport.
inhuman royal family as their escort and loyal protector.
Mm-hmm. Yep. y'all should do yourself a favor and not watch the TV show.
Which is a shame.
It's
because
not
the
great.
Inhumans have some of the best stories in Marvel Comics.
They're cool. Yeah.
And when they said they were doing it, and I was like all excited, I was like, oh great, this will be a great movie. And then like TV series, I'm like, this is gonna suck.
And it did.
Every single character in that thing needs a full budget of what a TV series is able to pay just for special effects. Like,
Yeah.
how are you ever going to do Medusa any kind of justice at all in a TV series?
Yeah, she was not.
Her hair would take the entire budget.
Yep.
Plus, all of the people that they deal with and fight with are like Eternals, you know? The Terrigen mists and all the crazy mutant kind of crap that goes along with them. They're like cosmic scale stuff.
Yep. Well, because there's like some relation between Eternals and Inhumans, right?
Well, I don't know.
In
Supposedly,
the
if you
comics?
watch the movie, they were just put here to be the heralds. Kind of like the Silver Surfer was the herald of Galactus. They were supposed to be the heralds of the Eternal that was, or the, what's it called? Not the Eternal, the big giant thing that was birthed from the planet. They were supposed to just take care of the planet so it could be born, and
Yes. And then the planet would get
but
exploded.
they fell in
when
love
the
with
thing-
humans along the way.
Yep.
Lockjaw definitely does seem like he would be a kisser.
What's that?
He
Oh,
seems
yeah.
like he would be a kisser.
100%.
I mean, look at all that drool.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get that tongue all up in your face. Clarkatron says, am I a dog? Because you like belly rubs,
Oh, and treats.
kisses, food,
Yeah.
and naps.
Maybe we're all dogs.
We are all dogs. Such is life. We are all dogs.
Is Loki good because of the actors? You don't think ever a good judge here is you watch Tom Hiddleston read a phone book? The story writing is phenomenal.
Yep.
Maybe not phenomenal, but good.
It's good.
It's very good. I have not watched season 2
Season
because
2
I don't
was
have
good.
Disney. But I feel like it was put together really well. I couldn't always tell where it was going, and I didn't care.
I think it's a good thing when you're not always 100% sure where the show is going. As long as it's compelling enough to make you want to watch it regardless, I think it's a good thing when you're like, I'm not sure where this is going, but this is really cool.
Jamie said, I don't sniff certain things. Not a dog. And Jade's a cat. I honestly might be more of a cat as well.
I like hanging
You
out
are
with
definitely
people.
a cat.
Yeah,
Yeah. It has to be the right time to interact.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm definitely a dog. 'Cause
I'm more of a
I'm
dog.
always game. You guys want to play a game? You want to hang out? I'm always gonna be like, "Yep, let's do it. I'm in. Let's go. Where are we going? What are we doing?" It's a very dog thing,
That is very dog. Yeah, it's very
and it's
much
very
more dog
true
than
for
cat.
me.
Doing the nacelles old school.
With the red, yeah, the red orange glow.
Number one cat personality must be the right time to interact. Yes. Oh, I think he just said it, T-Schmid.
What's
T-Schmid
that?
said pop quiz fuse. What are the red things called?
Nacelles.
Yeah.
Oh, these? Hmm.
They're headlights.
Yeah.
They're headlights.
I think they're warp inducers or something, like warp somethings. The nacelle is home to all sorts of things. But you'll catch me lying. I am not that big of a Trekkie nerd.
T-Schmidt, do you know do you know the actual answer?
Yeah, or are you just asking to see if we knew?
Avian said the overall tube is the nacelle.
The nacelle is the whole tube.
Man, got me coughing over here.
He said he's not. T-Schmidt said that's my one super nerd thing.
Star Trek?
Bussard collectors.
The what?
I don't know.
Huh?
Don't ask me for clarification on any of this. I just read what the people write.
Where'd they say it?
Bussard collectors? Bussard particles? I know that they can go through and collect, like, the deuterium gas or whatever the hell it is.
Clarktron said in TNG they also use them as the hydrogen collectors.
Yeah, I think they collect. They're like able to bring in material for fuel, right?
Game Delay, that's what I say too. I know the answer. I'm just making sure that you know the answer.
I don't know the answer. People will say things, and I will say, that sounds familiar.
T. Schmidt said, beats me, I just know what they're called. Avian said, I'm not a Trekkie or Trekker. What's the difference between a Trekkie and a Trekker? I just watched a lot of it as a kid and when we had no cable in university. Is there a difference between a Trekkie and a Trekker?
I have no idea.
Just grumpy enough that Bussard collector, also known as the Bussard ram scoop, or simply the ram scoop, was a device usually attached to the forward end of a warp nacelle.
There you go.
The difference between the two is which one you can... Oh. So you may be, like, offended half of the people here.
What's the deal?
The difference between the two is which one you consider a slur.
Oh, yeah.
Only a difference if you ask a Trekkie or Trekker. They will tell you, I guess, if there's a difference. But I don't want to offend anyone.
Not what we're here for.
Why would it be offensive?
One of them is a slur, apparently.
Oh, well.
I think
But it
Trekker.
depends on the person.
I think Trekker. Although they'll probably tell you, no, Trekker is what we call ourselves. Everybody else said we were Trekkies. There was some, I don't remember, I saw some meme the other day that was like some newswoman who blasted Star Wars for some nonsense that had been announced in public about a new movie coming out, and she supposedly said she's a Trekker, and she did the Spock thing, but she did it backwards. She did it with the back of her hand towards the camera. She's like, I'm a Trekker.
Oh, and it has to be the other way? It's got to be the other
Palms
way?
out.
I see.
Palms out.
Uh-huh. Trekking ain't easy.
Trekking ain't easy. Yeah, exactly. Just grumpy enough. Fuel collector.
All right.
It was about being woke, which makes it funnier. It's an obscenity to do it that way. It means something very different.
Trekking ain't easy. I always remember growing up because the only real nerd conventions when I was a kid were Star Trek conventions. It was the comic book convention. It was kind of the name that you gave to the
stereotype.
The stereotype,
Yes.
right? And
a Star Trek convention.
As a punk rock kid, I was like, I don't want to be seen dead there. What are you kidding me? But it was everything I loved.
Yeah.
You know, really hard for me growing up to be lumped in with the people at the Star Trek convention. and I say that fully forthright, knowing that here I am,
a kid especially.
Guy. But back then it was very, 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 very different.
Yeah.
You know, the crowds were very small, and the people that went out were the diehards.
Yep.
Right. You didn't have just mom and dad swinging their kids by the, oh look, it's the comic books. You know.
Yeah.
It was literally like, how many years has it been since anybody shampooed?
Yeah.
You know. I didn't know people had basements in Texas, kind of a thing. And but I was just like them, you know. It was one of those things where you went out and you're like, these are the coolest people ever.
This guy knows what a warp nacelle is.
Well, I didn't know what it was. That just wasn't me, you know. I just had fun with Star Trek. Now, 40 years later, and here we are. People are like, what do you do for a living?
Somebody
Well,
likes
let me
us.
tell you.
Show 1964, thank you for the follow. Basements in Texas, impossible. It's like basements in Arizona.
Are there not a whole lot of basements here?
Only in really rich homes.
You tried digging a hole outside?
You know, I haven't.
Probably not what he does for
The
fun.
ground is very, very hard here.
Probably not what Jordan does for fun.
I just live here. I don't try and dig holes.
Don't be planting any seeds in people's minds about me and digging holes, Avian. I am far too weak.
What's with the camera?
All I see is you moving the model like crazy. What's happening?
I don't know if it's is it my eyes that's being weird? I'm seeing like weird jitter.
No, I'm not seeing it.
No? Okay. Maybe it's my eyes then. Oh, too much video games this weekend. Ugh. Oh, alright.
Shelby said, me and brothers used to dig holes for fun. It's a good project. Take you all day.
I used to, when we were kids, we always thought like, you know, quicksand was going to be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Something else that we needed to worry about in life.
The running joke in life.
So I was always out digging holes, waiting for quicksand as a kid.
Cliff Jumper said, I was in the Army for 10 years. I dug plenty of foxholes. I can't dig past a foot here in Arizona.
Tough. You get too tired very quickly in Arizona digging holes.
And the Bermuda Triangle. You thought the Bermuda Triangle would be more worrisome, more problematic in life than it is.
Yeah, all the shows as a kid growing up, that was the stuff.
Yeah.
quicksand, Bermuda Triangle, Bigfoot.
T. Schmidt said, the sky has opened up here. In case I lose power, have a good rest of the day, everyone. Must have
See ya.
moved east from us. We had it yesterday. Good rainy day yesterday.
Where is
What you looking for?
pale yellow?
Pale yellow. I've got some pale yellow.
I think you have the only one.
Oh, well, I'll make a note of that. Where is my pale? That's wait. Where is my pale?
You need me to go get you pale yellow?
Nah, I'll make do with something else.
Why
I'll use
why are both of our pale yellows
I'll
gone?
use heavy warm white. Well, there may have
was
only
one.
been one, and it may be that it's out in the on the table from my paint mixing.
Oh,
That could very well be it. I'll just use heavy warm white. It's fine.
Kimberly said, I also did expect a lot more big mysteries to show up in my life than really have. Turns out most things in my life I know absolutely who did them. People
Yeah.
are terrible at keeping secrets.
Yeah, I'm one of those.
Just grumpy enough, stopped at a Starbucks in Mesa. There was an SUV parked with some slushy snow slop that had fallen on the ground behind it. Where did that SUV come from? Probably like Payson or something. It was there were like major winter storms yesterday.
just not here in the valley.
Well, we didn't have snow, but there was a
Some
lot
rain,
of hail.
heavy
and
wind.
We didn't have hail at our house, but like Scottsdale did.
Those places don't exist. The only place that exists is right in front of us.
Was it the $6 million man with a bionic big foot? Wait, what? $6 million man did not have a large foot. He had normal sized limbs. But I might be misunderstanding your question, Avian. It snowed in Tucson yesterday down into the foothills. Seems about right. I mean, it snowed in the valley a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago.
Nearly killed us all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great blizzard of 2021, I think. We almost got snowed in.
Yeah, you guys have trouble handling that couple inches?
Dude, it was like 1/18 of an inch. Nearly ended life as we know it.
Yeah.
And very true. When places that don't get snow, the world ends.
Dude, you've seen how people react when it rains here, right?
You should see how people react when it rains in Seattle. People don't know how to drive in that stuff.
It rains every day.
And
That just
that-
means people don't know how to drive.
Avian,
yes.
are you saying that? Are you asking if there was a Bigfoot on the $6 million man?
I think there was.
Okay.
I think $6 Million Man fought Bigfoot once,
Okay.
right?
So Bigfoot was definitely in $6 million man, but it was not a bionic Bigfoot. Now I'm following. Okay. We just saw. What did we just see with the bionic woman where she jumped? She was like standing on the ground and then she jumped and like.
It
jumped
was
to the top of
that
a
Star
mountain.
Trek documentary.
Oh yeah.
Where it was talking about the only types of sci-fi that were really making the rounds on TV were
she did
at the
it.
time was, Steve Majors and
Jamie Summers.
Yeah.
She did a jump. She was like
no
standing
no
on
no
the
no
ground
no
and
no
she
no 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 no. It was
crouched
the
down
worst.
and then jumped up, and it made that. Yeah, that.
It was
noise.
her
great.
jump was
It's, like,
filmed
so
in 3
nostalgic.
parts, and they didn't edit it very well. The first one was her jumping up from off the ground, right?
Yeah.
But they edited it to where she was like at full extension jumping up off the ground, but then her legs she started going back down just a little bit, and then the second shot was like
Landing.
was almost like what she would have jumped down, but then they reversed it, jumping her up, you know, so that looked hokey anyway. And then the last one was her jumping up and then landing. And they edited it, but they got part of the up and down part wrong, you know.
Yeah.
So it just looks so janky putting it together with the.
So good.
Is that what that's from?
The Bigfoot in question was robotic and built by aliens. You're due for somewhere between 2 and 30 inches over the next few days. They're monitoring the
That's quite a
situation.
range.
That's a pretty big CYA number.
Time for everyone to go buy toilet paper. Oh my gosh. Did you guys hear about that at all?
What?
So when I was living in Seattle, we had a storm. It was before COVID. That was so bad. Literally everybody ahead of time where they were like, "Oh, this is happening. We're getting like 3 feet of snow." And bear in mind, Seattle, lots of hills. You can't really drive in the snow unless it's completely clear. It's really bad. Also, people suck at driving, especially in Seattle.
Well, and it doesn't snow that much at one time normally.
Right.
And
right.
so I'm sure those people thought they were never going to be able to leave their house again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, we need to stock up on everything in possibly in sight." And literally, the shelves in the stores were empty.
Yeah, I've lived through that in COVID.
Was
I mean, like
bizarre.
that's what COVID was like.
That's true. COVID was very similar to that.
Mecha Godzilla was built by aliens, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Spitfire Miniatures.
Spitfire.
Thank you. Spitfire said I can't stay long because I have to go to painting day at my LGS, but I just wanted to let everyone know I love them.
Aw,
I love
thank
you too.
You are loved.
And thank you for the sub.
Well, huzzah, huzzah. I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
Panic button, no problem. Yeah. When we started bottling paint here for the first time in 2020, people were panic buying white and red. It's like they thought they were never going to get our white paint again. And we put it in stock, and people were buying like 10 or 15 bottles of it at a time.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane. We had to keep reassuring people, like, we'll catch up.
Yeah.
It's okay.
What do you do?
Just relax. We'll have more. We promise.
You see that first order come through and you're like, this person literally just bought 15 bottles.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? Turns out people like the products.
So you don't have to panic buy anything that we make. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't run out of things the first time, like Noosh. But once we realize that people want it, we'll get more. Well, that's an expensive bowl of cereal, Chuck. Milk is much cheaper, and it's better for you.
What was he using for a bowl cereal?
Titanium white.
Oh no.
You just panic bought $30 of Chinese food. $30 in Chinese food doesn't sound like a lot.
It depends.
I guess.
Is it Panda Express? That's a lot.
Is it? Panda Express, I don't think should be counted as Chinese food.
I would probably agree with that.
It's like
to be honest with you.
it's like Taco Bell being Mexican food.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put it this way.
It sort of is, but not really.
The egg rolls at Jack in the Box are better than the egg rolls at Panda Express. Not even lying. If you haven't tried them yet, go do a taste test and you'll see what I mean.
$10 is a big plate in your Chinese fast food spots.
China chili's not too bad if you get it for lunch.
I love China chili. I don't think it's bad anytime.
No, I mean from a price perspective.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. But China chili, not at lunchtime, is like 3 meals worth of food.
Correct.
So like if I order orange chicken, that's about 3 meals of orange chicken for me. How much bold titanium white to yield a gallon of ice cream? 1 gallon. That's how that works. $30 at Panda Express is a family pack. And ooh, the egg rolls at Panda Express are nasty.
Yeah, they're not great.
I don't think anything
They
is
leave
great
a
at
little
Panda
bit to be
Express.
desired.
Cliff Jumper, you love China chili lunch runs, plus you work about a quarter of a mile from there. So do we. Do you work here?
Do you work here?
Do you work for us?
There's something I should know?
China Chili is a Chinese restaurant.
It's really good. I like it a lot.
Oh, you work at the VA. Well, next time you go to China Chili, you
We are
swing
right
by.
in
We're
between
right
there.
in the middle. You had to have known this. I'm sure you knew this.
I'd be shocked if you didn't know this.
Can you get chili at China Chili?
You can get things with chilies in it.
Not the kind of chili you're probably thinking. Okay, I figured you knew this. But yes, they put the little red chili things in the food.
Yes.
Best Asian restaurant in our town steadfastly refuses to offer delivery and closes randomly after lunch to open back up at an unannounced time. That's kind of China Chili. They don't do delivery. They do like you have to get it from DoorDash or something. And they're, well, I guess they're closed on Mondays, which is
A
normal.
little odd, yeah.
But yeah, there
a
have
lot
been
of
times.
places close after the weekend because that's their big, heavy scheduled
Yeah.
day, so nobody gets weekends.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's a really interesting thing because in Seattle, all of the Asian restaurants are closed on Sunday.
Really?
Yeah. Can't get Chinese, can't get teriyaki, can't get
A lot of like
pretty odd.
family-owned restaurants are closed on Mondays. Like Los Dos is closed on Monday.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, I never knew that. I guess I've never really had much cause to go there on a Monday.
Well, now you won't be disappointed. That day ever comes. I mean, you might, but
I
at
don't
least it won't
often-
be that you go there and be disappointed. You'll know ahead of time, like, I really
Yeah.
wanted Los Dos, but I'm disappointed.
I don't often go to Los Dos with the intention of like I don't typically choose it for myself.
Oh.
Because I go to it a lot when like we all go out to dinner. It's usually like, what are you in the mood for? What am I always in the mood for? Los Dos. All right, let's go.
Oh, yes, Chino on close on Monday combination. Chinese Mexican. And I remember that because there was one day that Jason was like, you just tell me when you want to go, we'll go. I'm like, I want to go today. And it was a Monday and they were closed.
That's so sad.
Game
That's a
Delay said,
bummer.
"Oh, I just checked. If I drove to China Chili, I would have to go to Monument Hobbies as well." You would.
That is how it goes.
It would be silly not to,
Mm-hmm.
because it's right there. We could walk to it.
It is really good though. Some of the better Chinese food I've had, to be honest. Which either says something about China Chili or says something about all the Chinese food places I've
It
been
says
to.
something about the Chinese food places here. We don't have very good
No, I
ones.
mean the ones that I've been to in like Seattle.
We do not have very good.
Huh?
Even the ones that I've been to in Seattle.
Or
I
not
think,
good?
I think no, not as good as China Chili. I think
Oh,
China
really?
Chili's like up there. Yeah.
Oh. And chili can be hit or miss sometimes. Just like anything. Sometimes they, like sometimes the chicken's just dry and
What do you usually get?
gross. Orange chicken.
Orange chicken. Yeah. I don't usually get orange chicken.
It's so good.
I get their fried rice. I get their oh, what else do I get? I get their chow mein. That's what I get from them. Their chow mein is super good.
They have sizzling rice soup, which is really good.
Okay, so I've looked at that before. I have no idea what it is.
It's good. It's soup. I mean, it's just like a broth soup.
Uh-huh.
And then it comes with rice, but the rice is kind of like maybe almost like dried or like it's not really puffed rice.
Oh, is it fried? They might have
maybe
fried
just
the rice.
fried it, but
Yeah.
it's because it's a little bit
If it's like kind of crunchy,
little
almost
crunchy.
like Rice Krispies kind of.
kind
almost.
of, but not puffed like that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. It's probably.
And they give you that separately, and then you put it in, and you put the soup with it, and it like
It crackles.
sizzles. Yeah, it's really good.
Well, what the heck? I'll have to check it out sometime.
Not today because they're closed.
Correct. Hi, the Dork Depot. What's going on?
Game Delay said 9 hours 51 minutes per Google Maps. I'll be there tomorrow.
That would be funny, Game Delay. You should totally do it.
3-day drive for me to go to China Chili. I need to request PTO.
I'm gonna be honest. 9 hours is not actually that bad. If you really wanted to do it, you could make it
The
happen.
drive though to Utah from Arizona, or vice versa,
Not the best.
boring. It's boring. There's so many long stretches where there is just nothing.
Used our fluorescent red and orange over the top of the textures that I painted to really make them pop. I gotta shade them, otherwise the camera blows them all out.
I just looked to see what Amtrak would be like for a China Chili run.
Oh my god.
Amtrak? Taking the train?
Ghost Hunter said the fires in the tubes look great.
Thank you, thank you.
Three 3D no jutsu. Thank you for the follow.
Hey, somebody likes
Is
us.
that 3 supposed to be an E? Or is it 3D? Ed no jutsu? Or 3D?
3D no jutsu? I'm assuming it's 3D no jutsu. But it's a reference I don't understand. Potentially. Or maybe I got it right. Whoever shall know.
You can travel Amtrak with your bicycle for like an extra $20. Amtrak is very underrated if you have that kind of time,
Yeah.
you know? Because it's a much more relaxing trip across country via train than driving.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
People just don't think about train anymore, you know?
I would never think about trains to get anywhere,
And I get that, you know, it's like,
unfortunately.
we don't push that in the U.S. anymore.
not like-
and so it is not exactly amongst the
Not like in Europe.
highbrow
That's the
methods
best,
of
easiest
travel.
way to get around in Europe is to buy a train ticket. The definition of nothing is driving through the Midwest, nothing but corn and soybean fields. Oh, I've driven from here to Minnesota multiple times. We've driven to Adepticon. But the drive to Utah, though, because it sounds like it's not very long, right? Like, you know, what game delay say 9 hours and 51 minutes. That seems like easy, right? It feels like so much longer. Like when we drove to Valhalla, it seemed like we were never going to get there.
Oh, you guys drove?
Yeah.
Ooh. How long was that drive?
10 hours.
Like 10 or 12 hours. Hasselhoff said, if you have the time, we did the Amtrak through Glenwood Canyon from Denver to Glenwood Springs. It was a wonderful 6 hours, but the trip back there was an issue with the train going back. It was 12 hours late. Ooh, bummer.
That canyon is amazing. My mom lives in Newcastle, just outside Glenwood Springs. And so every time I go to visit her, we'll drive up that way. Or in the past, before my brother-in-law moved down here, I would go visit them. You'd have to go from my mom's up through that canyon. It's beautiful.
Jade was in intermodal transportation and logistics for 16 years and now works for a company that makes equipment to build and repair tracks. Said, I'm always thinking about trains.
Always thinking about trains?
It's so funny, right? Because, like, you get such an interesting perspective about people's jobs. You know, like, I never think about trains. But then I think about paint all day long. And I think about, like, putting paint in boxes, and these are things that most people don't think about.
Yeah.
Tasselhoff said Newcastle has the coal fire smoke coming up from the cracks in mountains, right?
Yep. They have an active coal seam right across the highway from my mom's place, actually.
What does that mean?
It's a burning coal seam in the mountain. So it's on fire.
Oh, wow.
Subcutaneously, so to speak. So you'll see it'll snow. There's a big band of the mountains that are completely clear. Like
Because
to the
What?
dirt.
Hot.
Because of the heat coming through the coal seam
Wow.
in the mountain. So the trees have no snow on them. There's bands where the trees don't even grow because it's too hot
Yeah.
right there. And there's no snow will stay there. It'll pack above it and below it, but that whole band is just nothing sticks.
Is there any danger that
It's like a smoldering, right? So, but yeah, it can
what does
cause
it do to air
forest fires.
quality?
I think it can cause forest fires.
What does it do to, like, the air quality? Does
That
it
I
feel
don't know.
smoky all the time?
No.
That's crazy. I never knew that.
Hey,
There's
Probably
vents every now and then.
likes
There's a
us.
natural spring there that's because of the same thing, right? Because it superheats the water. So there's a natural spring in Glenwood Springs. That's why it's called Glenwood
Oh,
Springs.
that makes sense. Scrumbly Dumpus said, "Dog,
Dog.
I so love pose 7405 Yuri. Thank you for the follow." $346.
Not possible. Lies.
Lies and deceit.
Solitaire goes, bot! You saying Scrumbly Dumpus is a bot? Dog.
Dog.
Boo. Oh, it says Icicle of Pose 7405 Yuri is a bot. I guess there's been a lot of bot follows lately.
Well, how do we know?
across Twitch.
We don't know that for sure. We've had a lot of
No.
people who've joined
Nor do I
that
understand
have
why.
been
Like, why would they follow?
from Eastern Europe. Hi, our monkey. Hello. Stream is going. We have about 13 minutes or so left.
13 minutes or so.
Yeah, no, we can't just assume that everyone with a long name with lots of consonants is a bot, because we've had real people from just from other countries that have talked to us and everything. So
The international culture of painting.
apparently there's a site that you can use to determine if there are bots. I'm not going to click that though.
Yeah, I'm not very concerned about it.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for too many years to
Yeah,
care.
I'm sitting here, so if anything inappropriate happens, I'm out or ban them. Now I'm wondering if you can have lies without deceit, and I think you can.
If you can what?
Game Delay said, now I'm wondering if you can have lies without deceit, and I think you can. Like when I say my handle was meant to be pronounced Chase Lounge, I'm lying, but I'm not deceiving.
Aren't you though?
I'm pretty sure those two things mean the same thing.
I'm thinking about that for a minute here. Yeah, no, I think they're the same.
Jen has spoken. They are the same thing.
Although he's the lawyer, so I really should defer.
Really?
Don't always defer to the lawyer.
If you lie
not that special.
unintentionally. Well, but I mean, if you lie unintentionally, then you don't know you're lying.
There's no such thing as an unintentional lie.
Cool.
That's ignorance.
Well, yeah, that's true. Because an unintentional lie is just giving misinformation.
It's just ignorance.
You don't know. But did I fool anyone, and did I mean to fool anyone? This is making my brain hurt.
This is making my brain hurt.
I'm already going to tap out of this conversation. I can't go any further
This conversation
with
is not happening.
I mean, you guys carry on, but
You said he was the attorney. You are correct.
We got some doggo fur here. Still retains a lot of that texture. Using some transparent colors to, or specifically just transparent brown, thin down to build up a little bit more of saturation in the fur, because it was looking a little too neutral-y color, desaturated. Needed some warmth to it. Because we got a happy doggo that's only half painted, sort of.
and also Game Delay, didn't you say that your name was supposed to be pronounced like Cheeto Fingers or something?
yeah, Cheeto
So
fingers.
now I definitely feel like you're being deceptive. You're an award-winning professional artist. Of course I believe you. Lying is saying something you know to be untrue, and deceiving is trying to make someone else believe you.
So the question is,
Well,
So
why
there's
did you
layers.
lie if you weren't trying to have people believe it?
correct.
Yeah. It's pronounced sweet nothings, and I've never claimed otherwise.
What a lawyer.
And okay, Guardian, I got my first Monument Hobbies loot today. Excited.
Nice.
First time trying out Bull Titanium White. It's a big day.
It's awesome. Blocking the camera.
That is seriously some of the most exciting things. Well, so Shelby, if you're still listening, this is something that you can look forward to when you're at LVO. Finding someone who has never tried our paint and then letting them try it. It's very cool.
I got that a lot at shows. People love trying it out, experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is the whole, like, okay, Tell me why I should use your paints.
Yeah.
I go, well,
There you go.
I can tell you a lot of stuff, but I'd rather just put a brush in your hand,
Yep.
hand you this stupid marine, and let you paint. What color do you like? And they're like, well. And then they paint with it. And you can tell that they probably meant to spend about 2 minutes listening to your spiel and then
Yeah.
walk away. And then like 30 minutes later, when they buy a set of paint and are really stoked about everything that they tried, that's the difference.
Lunchbox Superhero. The play Gaslight premiered in 1938.
Ooh, that little bit in the back, the red part there. Ooh, looks really good. Looks really good with.
On some, that's a shuttle bay, but I think on this old one, that's the shuttle bay. So that's an impulse engine.
Lunchbox, did you type that in the wrong chat? The irony is, I spend my entire professional career trying to speak truth with as much support and clarity as possible, and yet the stereotype is the opposite side. That's
Yeah.
true.
lying liars who lie. Spend my entire professional career. Oh, that's funny.
Well, that's guilt by association to the rest of your industry.
Yeah.
Crypt Shadow. I'm over here hawking a lung up, but I feel a lot better.
My takeaway is Chase Lounge.
Deceiving requires a skill check. Lying does not. Wait, what?
Mm,
Lying is the attempt to deceive.
we're not playing D&D here. It's real life. Also, if I have to lie, I have to see how well I lie. Therefore, I should have to take a check when I'm lying. Because the words got to come out of my mouth.
Okay, so here's the question. The deflector dish is supposed to be like bronze, copper,
Is it?
goldish. Yeah,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But in the
So it is.
newer Star Treks, of course, it was replaced with like a blue light.
Oh, do you
It
do the
didn't
blue
actually
light?
have like a radar dish on it anymore. It was just a big circle that glowed whatever color they needed it to glow.
So here's the question. Which do you think would look cooler?
I think I anger the gods if I paint it blue, which would look cooler.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Because I know the answer is the blue looks cooler,
Yeah.
but if you're trying to do an accurate replication, then you want to do that like bronzy color.
Yeah, I think it's got to be because it's the metal dish, right? It's
Uh-huh.
the old original series.
Yeah, that's where
metal
all the
dish.
phasers come out of, right?
No, that's the
Or-
deflector dish.
Oh, that's the deflector dish.
Yeah,
The phasers
the
come
phaser
from
bank
right
is
there.
like all the little doohickeys up
Yeah.
across the top, and the photon torpedo launchers are there, and more phaser banks, and doot. This is not the modern one that had like the phaser arrays. That was the band that went across like a big circumference inside there, and the phasers would kind of go to wherever they needed and then shoot out.
Oh, crazy.
This wasn't that high tech, man.
Back in the day.
Gold radar dish is cooler. All right, that's what we'll do then.
The gold radar dish.
That's what we'll do.
All right. We're keeping it OG. Oh, Jen, has Slubby
Actually, I don't
talked
think
to you
that
about her interest in learning new fancy words every day?
No.
Yeah, she was talking to me about it on lunch. She's like, I want to learn new fancy words every day.
Well, we'll get a word of the day calendar.
Yep.
And we can all learn.
Yep.
Brouhaha, Shelby.
I had one for
Brouhaha's
her.
a good one.
Today's word of the day is brouhaha.
Is that actually a word? There's no way that's a word.
I quit. I can't work amongst these plebs.
I had a good one for her. But my word for her for today
Brouhaha.
was recalcitrant.
Recalcitrant. that is
Also a good
Yeah.
word.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's also one of my favorite words. I love that word.
You laugh every time you watch me paint non-metallic mold. Yellow metal? Start with green.
The dog's butt's real cute.
You You want to know where I heard that word for the first time? You're not gonna believe me.
Some cartoon.
No, well, actually, wasn't from a cartoon.
I gotta go lock up.
It was from Supernatural.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like as kind of corny as it is, I've seen some episodes of that were fairly cerebral.
Yeah, I love that show.
I always joke with Jen when we're sitting around with nothing to watch. I'm like, let's watch all 15 seasons of Supernatural. She has never once caved to my wishes.
Yeah. One of the bad guys who doesn't show up until a little bit later. Who is my favorite bad guy in any television show I've probably ever watched.
It's saying a lot.
Yeah, he's really good at being a bad guy. He's really funny. Anybody who has been out there and watched Supernatural can take a guess.
Wasn't their dad the first time we really got that Negan guy in a show?
He was in some other things before. I don't remember what though, because I recognized him when I had watched it for the first time.
Oh.
I'd have to look it up. I don't really remember.
Technically, that looks exactly like it's supposed to look. If you were just base coating, dark yellow green,
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yes, it is basically all filmed in Canada, even though it takes place
Across
entirely
the United States.
in the United States.
Do you have yellow ochre? Believe it or not, I do not.
I do.
It's also on the desk in the other room.
Okay. I was like, we gotta make a list of these. So, do you want me to go grab those for you real quick?
He was Snyderverse Thomas Wayne. Was he?
Whoa.
This I didn't know.
Wait, really? That's interesting. Snyderverse Thomas Wayne. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I would have recognized him from before Supernatural. Because, like, that show's been out for actually forever. 15 years. 15 seasons. And it ended, like, 3 years ago. It's like early days of 2020. Or 2000s. Blah, blah. Crypt Shadow, there will be a fur guide very soon. This was a demo / trial run for me to test out a plan for a short. And I think it has turned out quite nicely. Which, write down really quick so I don't forget.
I was gonna say, do you know what you did?
I do know what I did. So for those of you who are paying attention, I'm gonna write it down real quick. It is, why is this not working? Pen, no. Okay, how about other pen? Pen? Yes. Okay, warm brown. And then we have light umber. Then we have light umber plus golden yellow. Hello.
Hello.
Golden yellow. And then a glaze of transparent brown. Five steps, and only one color is mixed. And a lot of little scritches later. Oh look, Baby J saved. Shaved? What? What are you talking about? Game delay. Come on now. Hi Schlebby.
Hi.
I heard that you had some models that needed to get primed.
Yes, I do. I'm very excited about them.
Do you want to prime some models?
Sure.
Jason, you cool if I let her prime some models?
Right now?
I'm gonna show her how to do some zenithal highlights for her models. Or shall we wait?
I can always wait.
What's
We
that?
can wait.
Yeah, probably wait.
Okay. Game delay. Those photos will never see the light of day, and neither will my shaved face.
You on the left?
I'm on the left.
Yeah.
I have some Humblewood miniatures, T-Schmidt.
He's got all the Percival's Friends models.
Yep, the Heroes of Humblewood. Ooh, Jordan, it looks good.
Well, this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to start finishing up work on him. I know that we're already past 4 o'clock, but we're gonna hang out, paint. Gotta grab some burnt orange. Work on building up this first layer of highlights on the gauntlet. This is over a burnt sienna base coat.
What happened to the dog?
The dog is taking a break.
Like I'm gone for 3 minutes and the dog is gone.
Well, I finished the texture on the dog.
This is Jordan we're talking about.
No, this was redone. I have to repaint this. I'm not going to paint more on it to just repaint it later.
He said it,
Why
not
do you
me.
have to repaint it?
Because this is the model I'm doing the short on.
He said it, not me.
Oh, so you were practicing?
Correct.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I get it.
But I wasn't going to tell chat that until you came by and threw me under the
you
bus.
did tell Chad at the very beginning.
You already told
them.
Chad. It was you that said it. What are you
Well,
talking about?
But I didn't specify that I was repainting that model.
Oh. Well, you said you were practicing. Yeah, I guess.
I didn't. Hey, look, I'm gonna pull a lawyer thing right now. I didn't explicitly say that I was repainting that model, okay?
Yeah, you did.
Well, I have now.
Jordan, how many models have you repainted?
Oh, God.
Just overall in your lifetime?
In my life?
All of them?
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Ballpark number.
Hundreds?
Like a lot of work.
If you must know, when I was painting studio models, I only ever had to repaint a model once.
I see. So you've primed many models twice. Or
Yeah.
painted a lot of models twice.
Trip Shadow wants to know if every short has just been primed over.
No. No. No, they have not. Not all of them.
But some of them.
I'm trying to think if I even actually have primed over a short model.
I guess it kind of makes sense for that because
I can't trust you anymore.
sometimes you're like painting it because you want to teach how to do a certain technique.
Right.
But then you don't actually want to use those colors or that technique
Correct.
on the model you're painting.
Uh-huh.
So that makes sense.
Yep.
Your models, you do what you want.
It's your expensive plastic.
But we will probably mock it a little bit.
You guys can mock
We will
me as
definitely
much as
mock
you
it
like.
A little bit.
We do it out of love.
Yeah, I know. How you doing over there, Jason?
I'm fine.
I'm fine. Things are great.
Game Delay said, I understand that if you prime over a first paint job, it adds richness to your colors.
I'm not even gonna respond to
No
that one.
comments.
You guys just like teasing me so much.
I just said, your models, you do what you want, but we will mock you. But we do it out of love.
Yeah, I'm sure one day I'll re-prime my Nightbells model.
What?
Depending on how well I paint it now. Because what if I get really good and then I hate the way that my Nightbells
Then you
looks?
keep it and you start a new one, and you use it as a comparison.
Yeah,
you say,
I
this is the
guess.
first model I ever painted.
That's what pictures are for.
And then here I painted it again.
Yeah, you make a good point.
Came to Lee said, I was trying to be helpful, baby J. Narrator, he was not, in fact, trying to be helpful.
Thank you for adding the narration in there, Gabriel. Really,
I think it was necessary.
yeah. Makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, definitely keep your first model. If you are just getting into
Yeah.
the hobby and you're just starting to paint,
I
keep that
didn't
first
do that,
one.
and I feel sad.
Yeah,
I do have some photos, and somebody owns a model that I painted a long time ago.
I know, T-Schmidt, that's why I'm saying. People who are just starting, make sure you keep your model, your first model. Everyone who didn't will tell you that they wish they did.
Yeah, that's the consensus I'm hearing.
We care.
My Nightbells doesn't look terrible, which is good.
Your what?
My Nightbells.
Oh, okay. I
doesn't-
thought you said necklace for a second. I
No.
was like, what the heck?
It doesn't look terrible, as far as I can tell.
Well,
But
and you're not done with it either, are you?
no, I'm not.
I'm gonna say,
Not even
There you
close.
go.
not even anywhere close to being done.
No. But you never know.
Never know what.
Like, if I get better along the way, and then I'm like, oh, this model is so cool, and it looks so bad.
Every model
You will
I've
get better
painted-
every model you paint.
Yeah,
First
every
off.
model I have painted, and not many, there aren't many, but every model I've ever painted has looked really ugly until it didn't,
Yeah.
Right.
which is the only way I can think of to say it.
This is
I
another.
will, like, you could look at my Deadpool right now, it is ugly, but it's not going to stay ugly. I
Right.
just won't, I don't know when I'm going to paint it again. Someday it'll look cool.
Someday it will look cool.
Yeah. Good Harold said, I still have mine. It really makes me happy to see it. Yeah,
Thank for
you keep it in a special spot.
Yeah, well, it is a display model, so
Yeah.
I'll definitely. I think I'm gonna have my dad make a plinth for it. Put it somewhere in my room.
that will be very cool. I'm excited to see it when it's done.
We, Ghost Hunter, it just depends on the day.
True. Days are busier.
Same
When
thing
I
with,
need it
with
elsewhere.
Jabe. You guys want Jabe to come in tomorrow? Depends on what he's got going on. Always depends on what other people have going on. If we steal Shelby away too many times, then you guys start not getting
No
your stuff.
brushes. No brushes for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. With Shelby, you have to trade whether or not you want to be able to buy brushes,
Yeah.
or you want to watch her paint.
Those are the only two options you get.
Crypt
Yeah.
Shadow, we do not make plinths.
Low production plinths.
I mean, we know, guy.
I've asked Schlubby and Gabe to ask their dad
Yeah.
how much he wants to work.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He's made the mistake of making some really cool stuff,
Yes.
and in doing so, has earned himself the ability to have me nag him quite a bit. This one's beautiful.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that one's gorgeous.
You know, it has just enough life to it with these live knots.
I did not
and
know
a
this was
really,
a
really
thing.
good grain. You know,
Mhm.
it was kind of, you know, flattened out, had a dead spot here on the side, so he turned it to the diameter he wants. It still has that flat, so it's a really cool piece. You know,
Yeah, I think that's olive.
I'm gonna
That's
put
really
all my
neat.
Star Trek minis on them. So,
I mean, they would have the right kind of feel.
because they already feel like they're made out of wood. A stream of Shelby working on brushes. Oh, good
Nobody
God.
wants
We
to
call that
watch
nap
that.
time.
That would be so
Yeah.
boring.
We have to like poke her every once in a while, make sure she's staying awake while she does it.
Oh my gosh.
Poninator, we have discontinued the hobby racks. Yes.
I mean, we have like 3/5 of the family,
Yeah.
the immediate family, not the
Not extended.
not the spouses.
But yeah, this is a beautiful one. Great plinth.
Yeah, he made. I think Gabe might have showed you his, but he made me, Gabe, and my mom some painting handles.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and they have like.
Yeah, he made
They're
like custom
really
painting
cool.
Yeah, they have
handles.
detachable
really cool.
tops that like magnetize to the handles. So if you're working with several models, then you
Yeah.
can just take the little
Like the ones, yeah.
cylinder off and then put the new one on.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Almost like they've got like a cool dad or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like they said, we're only minus dad and the brother.
Yeah. Which funnily.
And the brother's a chemical engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We got a job
technically,
for him if he
We
wants.
have a
Both
job
of
for
them.
him. He just happens to work for a company that is probably paying him more than we
Yeah.
could ever pay him.
Yeah.
God, can you imagine if their entire family worked here?
It just become schlebby hobbies.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the gold deflector dish and lighting effects.
Are we about to wrap up?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing left to do on this is to pick out some of the lighting effects. I'll do the spotlight on the name, but I have to have the name first. So I got to get all of the whatchamacallits, decals. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying that word out loud.
I know you
Decals?
keep saying that, and I keep thinking that you're saying it wrong. That you're meaning that you're gonna paint them.
No, I'm gonna actually put decals on models.
That's crazy.
There's no way I'm painting USS Slow Fuse on the front of this thing.
No.
Not a chance.
If anyone
When there's a
can do
company
it,
for
you
like
can.
$5, I can buy the decals that say USS Slow Fuse.
All right.
We're doing that instead.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I haven't used
wouldn't-
decals on a model in,
a while.
I have to think. I think I put a decal on a model at GW once to show somebody how to do it. So if that counts, then it's only been 16 years.
I'd count that.
But if I didn't count that, I would think it's somewhere closer to 30 or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I hate decals.
It's a
That-
monumental
With a
fair.
moment.
passion. I paint everything
Yeah.
by hand because
Yeah.
decals suck. But on these, at scale, not a chance, man. Not a chance. Because you'd have to paint the circle all the way around, right?
Oh.
And then the number, the NCC number,
Oh,
and
it
the
would be a
USS
nightmare.
Slow Fuse, and the hell with all that.
Yeah.
It would be a nightmare.
And straight lines on these wood grain nacelles. Nah, nobody's got time for that.
Because they have decals on the side of the nacelles too, right?
Yeah, they have the decal on the side of the nacelles. They have the decal on the side of the main engineering area. And then they have the ones on the top and bottom of the saucer. So, yay fun. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again. Appreciate you. Hope you have a great weekend or had a great weekend and that your week is kicking off good. Remember, if you're new here, please hit that follow button. We stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Arizona. So we'd love to see you back. Check out all the links that Jen put up in chat there. The store and the FLGS link will show you all the places you can buy our amazing stuff. And the Discord and the YouTube are the community links. So join us on Discord. Join the whole family. Watch me die. And then the YouTube where Gabe will generally post up these VOD episodes a day or two after they're live. So if you joined us late, saw something you might want to catch up on, you can always go over to YouTube and catch the stream after the stream. So, Zambies, good to see you, girl. But thanks for hanging out again. Stick around. We are going to find someone else to raid to keep some hobby going on into the evening. So show some love in the channel we wind up in, and we will look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. We're out here, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.